So now that we've got 3 clothing options for us to mess around with, we can start to experiment a little bit with a few of the other body parts. But first, let's do a little bit of housekeeping. I'm going to hold on to this layer with the painted area, and I'm just going to get rid of the painted layer as we don't need that anymore. And we just have one more thing we need to do to finalize our base image that we're going to edit, and that is that the image is a little bit too cropped, especially up here, which is going to make it a little bit difficult to change out the hair. So again, Scenario makes it really easy. We're just going to go ahead and shrink that, put that over here in the center. Before we hide the other 2 layers, let's make them all the same size. And we're going to do that by selecting all the layers and grabbing them, bringing them all down, and moving them over here to the center. Go ahead and hide everything except the principal layer. Remove the articles of clothing. Just add in woman and just click generate. And what it'll do is it will outpaint the image for us, giving us a little bit more room to work with. And that should leave us with a good starting place for our base image. Don't be like me. Don't forget to turn off your background. Once your background is turned off, it will try to inpaint all of this area that has nothing in it. There we go. Have a look at the other options, but as you can see, we now have the head covered, and there was even a line here that it turned into a wall, so everything worked out great. I do want to see the other options, as I'll be honest, I do find this lamp a little distracting. There we go. This is already a much better option. Let's see what the others come up with, and then we can start with our base image. Well, I think we found our winner. The best solution is no lamp. I'm just going to go ahead and grab that one. Now, there's a couple of things that we need to do before we finish up. I know we keep having little pieces of housekeeping to do. If we want all of these images to work for us, these 3, and use them in the final generation, we should probably duplicate this one a couple of times, move them back into position, and move the images from before up to the top. So let's grab this one, turn everything off. There we go. And just make sure that everything aligns up. Grab these 2, merge them. And what I find works well is actually grab the eraser. And what we're gonna do is from the top layer, just remove a tiny bit up here to ensure the image blends nicely. And great, we're ready to start. We have a starting place for our image. And this is where the fun begins. So if we go back and look at the reference image, we can see here that there are various iterations through the hair, the eyes, the clothes. So let's start out with the hair. Let's go ahead and add in a new layer. Now there's a few ways that we can approach this. The first one, which is the simplest, is to just go in and draw up a mask for the hair. We want to try and catch as much of it as possible. And then depending on whether you want the hair to follow the same structure or not, or be a little bit longer, you can select more of the area. So I'm going to go ahead and grab all of this, and grab all of this, and grab all of the forehead so that there's as much room for flexibility as possible. Don't forget to grab the shadows and even a little bit more of the face here and the front of the clothes in case the model wants to draw the hair out on top of the clothes. Now, if we're taking this approach, we want to go ahead and stick to the original image that we have, duplicate that, move it back to position, and we're going to add in a prompt about what we want with the hair. So let's try something like French braids, purple hair. Bring that right up to the front of the image so that this part of the prompt is what is weighted the most. And this is very important. You want to bring your image to image reference down to as low as possible. I'm going to do this with a 1. Now, the reason for that is the way Scenario is set up is when you're doing any kind of inpainting, is the inpainting component is going to look at the structure of what you're painting on top of. That's why the sketch feature is really powerful, because you can use that to draw out a very vague appearance of what you want, and then the model will try and convert that into an image. However, if you're inpainting an area that already has something like this, you want to bring down the image influence as much as possible so that the prompt comes through. And even then, it may not always come through. We're going to try it out with a couple of prompts, and then we're going to move into sketch mode to see what the difference in performance is. Okay, so we got some results. I'll be honest, they're better than what I expected, but still not quite what we need. Some of them are a little bit off, but this one is definitely workable. Now this is where, once again, the tool shines. If we see an image that we like, we've done some inpainting, and we want to iterate on it, we can go ahead and sketch out, if we wanted another braid over here, we could actually grab the purple pencil. So let's remove the mask. Let's add on another layer. Grab the sketch tool, grab some purple somewhere over here, and actually sketch out more or less where we want the hair to be. It doesn't need to be perfect. Grab the Inpainter. Hey, once again, leave it there. French braid, purple hair. We don't need to change anything. I'm thinking now I probably should have grabbed a little bit more area of Inpaint just to make sure that it all flows nicely, but let's see what we get. This is an iterative process after all. There we go. This one works good enough for me. Like I said, I probably should have grabbed a little bit more here to make it fall a little more naturally, but for the purposes of this project, actually this one's perfect. This is just what we want. So we'll go ahead and grab that. Delete the inpainted layer and go ahead and merge these two. So just like that, iterate through the hair, try out different sketches, different colors, until we get to the point where we're ready to move on to the eyes. And there we have it. Once you're happy with the number of hairstyles that you've gotten, we can move on to the eyes. Now for the eyes, I recommend starting with a hairstyle that you've picked where the hair is up and we can really see the face. And then what we'll do is we'll layer the hairstyles that we like with the eyes that we like later. So this is one that works pretty well for me. Once again, I'm just going to duplicate it so we don't mess up the original one with the hair if we need to do any kind of manipulations on it. Go ahead and hide all the hair layers that you're not using. Make sure you select the top one, and again, it's the same thing. You can start by either inpainting the area that you want and giving the prompt a description of the eyes that you want, or if you fancy yourself a decent sketcher, you can use the sketching tool and actually sketch out what you want. I find when inpainting the eyes, the structure comes through a lot more than with the hair, even when setting the influence to 1. So if you want to make the eyes smaller or you want to close the eyes, you may want to try sketching it closed. Anyway, for the purposes of this video, we'll do one with prompting, one with sketching, as we did with the hair, and we'll move on to the lips. So for this instance, I'm going to grab, let's say, golden color eyes, just so we have something that's quite a bit different from what we have now, and go ahead and generate. So I'm not even going to let this finish, because in this case, the eyes are a little too extravagant to what I want, and as usual, like I said, worked out really well this time. We want to actually bring a little more of the structure through. In this case, the first result is the only one that's usable. It's a little better, not quite what I wanted, but it works with the face, so we can keep it as one of the options. So we'll go ahead and grab it. I'm just going to hide it as that will remain one of the options, and we'll continue to use this as our base. Now let's say I wanted to actually make the eyes a little bit smaller. I can come in here, try and grab a skin color. I really do wish that they had a pipette. This is one area where I do have an issue with Scenario, and they really need to bring that pipette in so that we can pick colors. Let's inpaint that or sketch that a little bit, and we can do the same. Oh, I almost forgot. Don't make this mistake. Always draw on an empty layer. So we've put in our layer here. Let's go back and sketch it out. So we're just going to cover the top part of the eye. Change that to black. Make that quite a bit smaller to do the lashes. And if you've got a tablet, this is where that really comes in handy. So if you're an existing artist, this is great for you. This streamlines your entire process. And then if we grab the Inpainter, so I'm just going to remove all of these, and I'm going to remove woman as well, and I'm just going to put eyes, because I don't want the yellow to be considered as makeup. I want it to be considered as skin. And let's see what we get. Now that we've completed the eyes, we can go ahead and do the final step, which is going through a few more iterations of clothes. And again, it's very similar to what we've done before. We can try just regular inpainting or sketching out a few things if we've got some ideas. And fortunately, we already have a few iterations from before, so we don't need to create that many layers. So let's go ahead and do that now. And that's it. Once you've gone through enough outfits, you should have here a selection of different items that you can iterate through. So the next step is to go through the layers one by one, show off each layer, download, save as an image, and do that for each layer. Now, when you get to the eyes, same thing. We're just going to reveal the layers one by one and then save it as an image. And that will just save the whole image all together with everything merged. So once you're done with creating all of the outfits that you want, the final part is about creating the combinations that we want, exporting them as a flattened image, and then we're going to take it into our favorite animator and put it all together. So if we just look back at the original image just so that we have a reference. The first one, at the beginning here, we have a fixed body and a fixed hair, and it's just the eyes that change. So we just want to go through and save all of the different eyes with the same hair and the same body. Then we pick an eye that we like and do the same thing for the hair. Then we pick a hair that we like and we do the same thing for the clothing. So to start with the eyes, we need to pick a base hair and a base outfit. So go ahead and hide everything and start looking for a base set that we like. So I actually quite like the base hair, but I am going to change out the eyes. Now you'll notice, although we've got the eyes here, the rest of the elements don't match up. This is where the erase tool comes in handy. Make sure you have the right layer selected. We can go ahead and erase the parts that we want to get rid of that don't quite match up. Now, you might notice we have a slight problem here, and that is that the eyes are now sitting over the hair. We can solve that by doing the following. So if we look at the hair layer that we want to use, we grab it here, we duplicate it, and now we're going to bring that on top of the eyes. Let's hide the eyes. Make sure you've got the right layer selected. And what we're going to do is we're going to erase the eye components. Now, you do need a bit of a steady hand here. And now the final step is we want to blend everything together. So we give it another coat of Inpainting just around the edges. And there we have it. We have our first image. So let's go ahead and download that and look for the next combination. So if we're going to stick with this hair, we already know what we need to do is we need to just grab the eyes, remove the area, and put it underneath the hair. So then what we're going to do is we'll stack up all the eyes underneath and we can work through them one by one. Oh, we actually have an even better one. Because we erased the eyes on this one, the next layer just shows right through. So we can just proceed directly with inpainting. So we just inpaint the area here that's kind of been cut out and doesn't blend very well, and then just generate that. And there we go. Now we have our second image. And so we work through the rest of the images like so. When you create a new image, don't forget to hide it. Eyes are done. Next step, we choose the hair. So the hair is pretty much the same as what we've done with the eyes. We pick a baseline to start with. So let's stick with this green one since the eye rotation will finish here. And so we now want to move all the hairstyles to the top. So let's grab all the hairs and bring them up top. Don't forget to remove your inpainting mask. Hide the hair with the cutout and start opening up the hairs. Now, we're going to have the same issue as we had before. Because the hair is an entirely new image, we're now hiding the eyes that we want to view. As with everything, we want to avoid messing with the layer that is our base layer. So let's go ahead and duplicate that. Just recenter the duplicate and just move a copy down so we've got a backup. Make sure you don't have something at the top that's hiding everything. And like before, we're just going to grab the Inpainter. Actually, let's erase a little bit more over here. Grab the Inpainter, paint around the edges so we get a new image with smoothened edges. And while I'm at it, for this particular image, I did see some artifacting over here in the chin. So we'll just Inpaint it and generate. I'm just going to grab the first image because that one works just fine. Do a sanity check by removing the Inpaint mask. And I'm pretty happy with that. We can go ahead and save it as an image. Hide the new layer, hide the hair, grab a new hair, select it, duplicate the layer, hide the backup, and start cutting away. And these again are relatively easy because we don't have much hair covering the eyes. Great. There we go. Grab the Inpainter and let's give it a polish. Make sure you grab these areas around here where there is some hair coming through. We want to make sure that gets inpainted away. And like before, I'm just going to grab part of the chin. This is a great opportunity to fix up any areas that you're particularly unhappy with. And once again, I'm pretty happy with the first image, so I'm just going to grab that. And there you have it. Download the image. And like before, work through the hair as we did with the eyes. And I just realized a massive mistake. In both this one and with the messy bun, we forgot to erase out the clothes. So we're going to go ahead and do that now, and we need to re-export those images. We need to do it on 2 layers. We need to do it on the hair layer, and we need to do it on the eye layer as well. So I'm going to go ahead and duplicate that. Let's go to the eye layer that we're using, which in this case, it's this one. And same thing. We just need to erase the clothing area. And so some additional inpainting around there may be required because some of that hair is coming through. This is the nice thing about the Inpainter is when you select an area for inpainting, it will create a new image on top, taking in everything that you've done so far. So let's grab the Inpainter, grab this area over here. We want to fix this area over here, all of this. There we go. I'm going to grab this one because it doesn't have that hair sticking out down here. Save it as an image. Let's hide that. Do the same thing for the platinum blonde. The nice thing is as well, since we've already done the eye layer, we don't have to do that one again. So let's remove the inpainting mask, grab our trusty eraser, and once again, just remove this part over here. One of the nice things about working with AI is the lack of necessity for precision. Obviously, the more precise you are, the better results you'll get on the first go. But for someone like me who's struggled with that their entire life, being able to create stuff like this with just a few brush strokes and whatever I was able to acquire from art classes is incredibly rewarding. There we go. And once again, grab our lucky inpainting brush. Grab this area up here, fix that, fix the shoulders, please, down there, fix that down there, and I think we're golden. And there we go. So now that we know what we need to do, just continue working through the rest of the hair and clothing items, and once you've exported all the images, I'll catch you guys in your favorite editor. Once you've finished exporting all of your images and you've got them saved in a folder, bring them into your favorite editor. In my case, I like to use Canva for this type of thing because it's really easy to put a bunch of images together and turn it into an animation. So here we are in Canva, and we're going to open up the pages and then duration. Let's give each image about half a second. We might even need to give it less, but let's start with that. And if we remember, we want to start with one of these images where she's wearing this kind of dress with the chestnut hair and these eyes, and we want to end with the green eyes. So I'm just going to toss that in already. And we want everything else to be in between. So let's just start adding them in. Now let's make it 0.4 and apply it to all the pages. Great. Let's just have a quick look. So it's not perfect. There's a few issues here around the edges that you could go back and clean up. However, if we go and do that now, we'll be here all day. I do think the animation needs to be a little bit faster, and I think if we do that, it will also seem a little less prominent. There we go. Perfect. 0.2 seems to be the mark. So we end on the green eyes, and then we want to end with the bun. So we're going to put that in here, and then we'll stick everything else in the middle once again. Bun at the back, and everything else in between. So now that we've got that, we can now add in all of the clothing items. Now, one little thing that did happen, and it is something that we could spend a little bit more time on, is you'll notice that some of the angles here, the character kind of went a bit to the side. I'm going to use some of them, but if we look at the original image, the pose is always perfect. So that's going to take a little bit more investigation. We can do another video on that using ControlNet to try and keep everything stable. If that's something you guys are interested, please let me know in the comment section below. And there you have it. We've put everything in. Let's tweak our timing down to 0.2 as we had it before. Apply it to all the pages and sit back and watch the show. And there you have it. It probably would have looked a little bit better if we had a few more hairstyles. And as we said, the eyes still need a little bit of work. They still don't blend in that well. But overall, you get the idea. These are the basic principles used to create that image. If you guys want to have another video where I just go through and refine this, please let me know as well. If you guys found this helpful, you can check out another video that I made on Scenario up here. And don't forget to like and subscribe. I'll check you guys on the next one.